to stop vehicles bearing migrants from barreling across the Canadian border into the United States. Blocks like these have been installed on rural roads that intersect the border. But Royal Canadian Mounted Police Sergeant Daniel Dubois explains they aren't a fail-safe solution.
People can still hop over them.
Managing the world's longest land border at about 4,000 miles is a tough job, but it's also one now in the spotlight after US President-elect Donald Trump threatened Canada and Mexico with sweeping 25% tariffs if they do not reduce the movement of migrants and drugs into the US. Canadian police say that over the past 4 years they've been installing cameras and sensors along this section over the border.
But for us, we typically will not arrest a migrant.
But officials like Charles Poirier acknowledge they are limited in what they can do to stop southbound migrants who are typically in Canada legally.
Well, here's the thing. They haven't committed an offense until they've crossed into the United States. So our focus for the past few months, and actually the past year and a half, has been on arresting and prosecuting the smugglers.
4 migration experts Reuters spoke with were unsure how new border security technology and equipment would prevent crossings. Canadian politicians admit the show of border strength is about creating an impression of security.
Push people to cross through.
And refugee advocates like Carlos Rojas Salazar argue the restrictions do not deter migrants.
When you try to cross a border, the only thing that you do is that you are pushing people to risk it. And you are increasing the royalties that the organized crime are getting.
Most migrants at the border are heading from Canada to the US and not the other way around. Canadian authorities caught 1,000 people trying to cross into Canada between formal crossings in the 12 months ending in October, according to data obtained by Reuters. That's compared to more than 23,000 apprehended on the US side by US Customs and Border Patrol. That also represents a tiny fraction of the 1.5 million apprehensions over the same period near the US-Mexico border. American Terry Rowe lives on the New York side of the border. He says his motion-sensing cameras regularly film migrants crossing the border on foot, mostly towards the US.
It makes us a little nervous.
Yeah.
You know, when it's 70 feet from your bedroom window. I mean, we keep our doors locked.
But recently, he has noticed more heading north towards Canadian soil. Canadian law enforcement are also bracing for a potential influx of migrants fleeing Trump's threat to carry out mass deportations once he is in the White House. They say they have redeployed officers across the border to try prevent a surge.
Fear might drive some people into fleeing the United States and coming to Canada, hoping for a better future. So we had to be ready, and we are ready.